Okay, let's get this started. Got him playing a nice little violin rendition of Divine Bloodlines there. So yeah, finally got myself a new PC, a new microphone, so why not come back in style? So yeah, my Let's Plays are coming back up and running again, and I wanted to do something a little bit different here. I want to take these Let's Plays in a different direction. So, anybody who knows me knows that I am a hardcore Castlevania nut, and that this is my favorite game franchise of all time. So, I wanted to do something interesting with this Let's Play series. I'm going to play these games in the same order in which I played them growing up. So, since this was my first Castlevania game, we're going to start with this one. And then Lament of Innocence is going to be the next one, and then Curse of Darkness, and then so on and so forth. But we're going to start with this, since this was the first Castlevania game I've ever played. So let's get started. And as you can see, I'm playing this through an emulator. Do we have any... Oh, I have to delete a file, don't I? Yep, I got a bunch of files here from playing. I guess we'll go ahead and get rid of this one. I said yes. Alright. So, I guess my history with this game started with, my dad, because... Oh, real quick. This, if you pick easy... I found this out the hard way when I was a kid. If you pick easy, you can only make it halfway through the game before the game decides to cut you short and basically says, hey, if you want to experience the rest of the story, pick normal. And then you have to restart the game. Yeah, that's pretty cruel. Pretty cruel of them to do that. My mindset, because again, I played this when I was in first grade, my mindset was that, oh, this is an adult's game, so obviously I want to pick easy because I want to get my ass kicked, right? Fuck. What kind of game design is that? What is the point of having this difficulty if you're just gonna punish them for picking it? So yeah, pick normal. So you get two choices. You get Reinhardt and Carrie. And since I'm playing this on an emulator, we got this problem going on. It's not a big deal. It only really affects this part of the game. So we're gonna pick Reinhardt because he's the whip-wielding Belmont boy. And that is the Necronomicon. Interesting.
Transylvania, in the mid-19th
Also, fun
century,
fact, this is Scott McCulloch, the OG voice actor for Richter Belmont in Symphony of the Night, who is narrating this game.
Sees the return of ancient horrors. But the old legends live, and soon...
Also, there is a glitch that happens with this narrator that's going to be coming up here in a minute. It's random if it happens. Yep, it happened. It's random. Sometimes it'll do it, sometimes it won't. It's not an emulation error. It happened in the original game too. It happens. I don't know why it does that.
Wielding the holy whip of his ancestors, the young vampire killer begins his quest.
So, about that. So, you heard the narrator just talk about Reinhard Schneider and, talking about the intro of the game. The narrative of this game is kind of conflicted with itself because even the development, too. Here, let's listen to this real quick.
Courage. Don't leave me.
And that is the only bit of voice acting you're going to get from Reinhardt, because this game, I guess, couldn't support much of it. Anyway, so Reinhard Schneider here, like they just explained, he is the descendant of the Belmont clan. He has the same blood, right? Well, here's the thing. In early development, he was going to be called Schneider Belmont, all right? And Cornell from Legacy of Darkness was going to be named Cornell Reinhardt, so there was a bit of a development issue when it came to the naming scheme. But to explain it in a more comprehensible way, Reinhardt Schneider is a Belmont, because that's what the game's narrative is trying to point out, and that's what we're supposed to infer from this. The best way to explain it is that since this game takes place in 1852, this is when the Belmont clan is in hiding. So the logical thing to believe is that Reinhardt Schneider is a Belmont, but his family changed their surname to Belmont. Or Schneider, rather. We got skeletons rising from the grave. That's disgusting. We just want the hat back. It was his hat, Reinhardt Schneider. He was number 1. Alright. So yeah, we got our typical whip combat, because we're a Belmont. Typical just one swing, straight ahead whip combo. Well, not a combo, it's just a swing. But yeah, you break the crest on this door. I said we break the crest on the door. Come on. And we get... Ooh, what do I win? You win a boss fight with the giant skeleton ape. So, interesting thing that I want to point out about this this gameplay. People don't give this enough credit, and this is actually one of the reasons why I love this game, and I always come back to it, is the lock-on. There is an auto lock-on system when you face an enemy. So, like, look, if I'm near this enemy, you see those red crosshairs? That's an auto lock-on. It makes it to where, if you just face their general direction, you whip them. And they're dropping knives, so I might as well just pick it up. So, this game could have been a lot more broken and janky and worse if they didn't have this, because if they didn't add this, then that means you probably would have had to have manually had to face them and target them yourself. Combine that with the somewhat janky camera, could not have been practical at all, and it probably would have been much worse to play. I'm just saying, this game could have been a lot worse. But yeah, I love this combat. The game's combat is one of its shining points, and I really love it. I always come back for the combat. I love the sound design of the whip cracks. It's so satisfying to hear. Oh, he broke the sconce. I didn't know he could do that. Alright, so he's defeated. Ah, he's salty. He's a Smash player. He did a pop-off. So we go across these. Lightning keeps hitting the trees. Oh, and yes, like the typical Castlevania tradition, there are power-ups to your whip. You get 2 of them, and they upgrade your whip. But, oh, I was going to go along with the story of my upbringing with this game. So, back what I was saying, my dad, my very first introduction to this series was when my dad bought Lament of Innocence on the PS2. And he brought it home, and I guess he was cleaning the disc. And I vividly remember he showed me the case of the game. Now, on the cover is a art piece from Ayami Kojima of Leon Belmont. Now, Ayami Kojima, we all know, makes all of her characters look very feminine, very porcelain doll-like, and, such and such. So I looked at the cover, and my first instinct was to ask, who's that girl on the cover? He's like, that's not a girl, it's a guy. I was like, oh. So, yeah, when I first saw the cover of the game, I thought that Leon was a girl. So, yeah, so these. You saw me just break these sconces here and grab these cards. These are Sun and Moon cards that allow you to change the time of day, because this game has a dynamic day system. Sort of like Ocarina of Time, which is, again, pretty innovative for this being the first 3D Castlevania game. So, again, credit where credit's due. Oh, we got bats here. But going along with what I was saying, because my dad played Lament of Innocence, I would often spend time watching him play it. And I'll save some of those stories for when I get to Lament of Innocence, but I guess he noticed that I was taking a liking to the game, so I think he figured, like, oh, he must want to play it, right? So there was a point... Oh yeah, this is a mini-boss, by the way. This were-tiger that we will not see again until the end of the game, by the way. That was pathetically easy. But, I guess my dad thought that I must have liked the series because of how much I was watching him play Lament of Innocence. So he took me to one of the game stores, and he had me pick out Castlevania on the N64, since that's what I was playing at the time. I picked it out, and I remember when I brought it home, when I started playing it, the first thing he said, when I started doing the whipping thing right here, he looked at the whip, and I swear, I vividly remember him saying, "Look at him with that cheese whip." I mean, yeah, it looks like just a hunk of cheddar. It's got that nice cheddar orange color. It looks like a cheese whip. But I do remember him saying, he's like, man, that's weird, because when you get... The traditional formula of Castlevania is when you get all 3 of the upgrades, your whip turns into like a chain whip, like a Morningstar flail, I guess. And he was like, huh, that's weird. Usually when you get all 3 upgrades, it's supposed to turn into a chain whip. And in this game, it doesn't. When you get the upgrades in this game, all it really does is change the color of your whip trail. It goes from like yellow, orange, and then red. They fixed this in Legacy of Darkness, where his whip does turn into a chain whip and then an energy whip. But, again, this is like the beta version of Legacy of Darkness. Legacy of Darkness is like the director's cut, fully finished version of Castlevania 64. And yeah, if you break this rock here, you get a bunch of money. So, just want to point that out. But yeah, I got tons of memories associated with this game. Voice crack. Oh my god. Got a save point. A white jewel. Got that titanium white. Also, this game has flavor text. You can inspect things. Dead. Could it be someone from the village? Yeah, so that's something that people don't talk about, is that if you just randomly inspect things, you get flavor text like fucking Resident Evil style. Break this sconce right here. Get a jewel. Also, this thing I'm doing here with the hopping, yeah, it's like the fastest movement tech in the game, because, you know, walking is slow. I'll try not to do it too often because it does kind of look goofy, but, you know, I gotta get that speed. Want to see a pro gamer move? Watch this. Yep, totally bypassed that otherwise difficult section that, you know, a lot of people tend to struggle with because of the platforming. But yeah, just totally rock that shit. Now we're gonna make our way out of here. Just bunny hop our way back to the save point. Save again. But I remember when I picked out this game at the game store that he had me go to, I remember that I was also able... He gave me a choice, because right next to this game was Legacy of Darkness, but I chose this one. I'm kind of glad I chose this one, because I'm gonna be honest, one of the things that attracted me to the series was the whip combat. I thought that's one of the things that made it unique and interesting to play. Legacy of Darkness doesn't start like that. You play as Cornell, which is a werewolf. You don't get to have the whip combat until you unlock Reinhardt, which is way later on. So I feel like if I started with Legacy of Darkness, it wouldn't have quite as grabbed me as much. Also, this is a secret right here. If you didn't know, you could just walk on air. I think this unlocks, like, hard mode or a costume. I don't remember. But yeah, you can... That's how you get to that secret right there. Now, coming up right here. Oh, we got bats. I remember... Now, remember, I told you I played this in first grade. I played this when I was a kid, right? This right here. You can see off to the left there. You see that faintly in the distance, that werewolf sitting there? Yeah, this part of the game kind of freaked me out when I was a kid. I was creeped out to come here because, again, the sound design, the way this thing moves, it's the way this werewolf moves and the noises that he makes, just, it freaked me out when I was a kid, and I was scared to come here. And speaking of, you know, being creeped out, this Castlevania is probably the only game in the series that has even marginally creeped me out. This is like the only game in the series, and I've played pretty much all of them, that has managed to be scary or creepy. it did it so well. Also, there's these stone mausoleums here. You got these coffins that you can just break open. You can get some goodies in there. I'm not gonna do it because most of the time there's nothing really good in there. You'll probably get like a red jewel and a chicken maybe, but I'm not gonna do it. You can if you want, but I'm not. Also, we don't get potions in this game. We get roast chicken and roast beefs to heal. No potions. A bunch of skeletons up in here. Ooh, what's that? We got bodies impaled on pikes. I'm going to grab the holy water because it is OP, just as it is in almost every other Castlevania game. Shout out to Richter Belmont 12 for really helping me to appreciate this sub-weapon more, because when I was younger, I hated this sub-weapon. I used to have this mindset that since it was a close-range weapon, it was useless, so I never used it. But after watching his videos, I realized just how OP they are. It's crazy. Like, you can tear through enemies and bosses by using the sub-weapon. It's probably just as good or even better than the cross. I mean, the cross is good because it's good for, like, boomerang stuff and trying to hit airborne enemies and shit. But the holy water is just good for damage control. It is really good at dealing damage. So take my word for it. If you really want to be a Castlevania pro, keep that holy water. It's really good. Okay, we don't want to go here yet. We want to go over here, because there's another mechanism we need to activate, another lever. We're going to keep doing our bunny hops. Oh, bomber skeleton there, by the way. Yeah, there's those bomber skeletons that will run after you, and they will explode upon impact if you hit the... don't let it happen. Aw, you motherfucker. But yeah, here's that one lever I was talking about. Hit it. Yes, operate it. That's why I'm here. What else could I possibly be doing here other than to operate the mechanism? Yes, get our roast beef. Gonna go to fucking Arby's up in this bitch with all the beef. Do our bunny hops. But yeah, this game has a lot of unwarranted hate and vitriol. And I think part of that is just, you know, a lot of the stigma around YouTube reviewers, especially ones like AVGN that give it a bad name. It's par for the course. It happens. Like, but if you play it yourself, I'm sure people have a better opinion of it. And it's another boss fight with the same boss. It's the skeleton ape, but with a twist. There's skeletons on fucking motorcycles. What? I say, what? We're just gonna ignore them, though, because they're not the problem. It's this giant skeleton ape that's the problem. But we're gonna get rid of them anyway. And, you know, people like to point fun at the fact that there's skeletons on motorcycles in this game, but my answer to that is, have you played Curse of Darkness? That game had an electric guitar as a weapon, that game had a Gatling gun as a weapon, and a deck brush. A deck brush as a weapon that you could craft. A deck brush. People don't... Like, that game, Curse of Darkness was, like, especially goofy. That game had a lot of, like, gag-worthy stuff in it. That game was goofy. That game, like, I'm telling you, Curse of Darkness even had, like, a whole dedicated, like, room where you would collect chairs. There is a room in Curse of Darkness where you collect chairs. I'm not even joking. Oh, and it looks like we crippled the skeleton. Now he's a crawler, and now he's dead. Made his head fly off. Well, now we can go in the castle, so... Yep. Nice. We completed that in nice, timely fashion. Alright. Now we just wait for the gate to open before our feet. And now... the epic entrance. Look at those polygonal boots. I can't fault them. For an N64 game, this game's graphics are pretty good. Pretty good for an N64 game. Not even gonna lie. So now we are in the castle. We are inside. Let me in! Let me in! Oh, he won't. Oh, we're trapped. We're screwed. We're completely fucked. Alright, well, you know what? I think this is a good spot to save and call it an episode. And in the next episode, we're going to explore the rest of this castle, whatever we got going on here. And you know what? I will see you guys in the next one. Catch you guys later.